get online?
Can start at your discretion.
All right, Mr. Chairman, you want to call the meeting to order and we'll get going.
I call the meeting of the Ethics Commission to order April 18th, 2023 at 3 p.m.
I'm sorry to
Okay.
interrupt. Can you back your mic off a little bit? You don't have to speak so directly into it. Thank you, sir.
I call the meeting of the Ethics Committee to order. It's 3 o'clock on April 18th, 2023.
Very good. All right, we have a quorum present, and Clerk Kalman and I are here to assist you in your role today. We'll do the administrative matters first. You should have 2 sets of minutes from March 21st and March 28th in front of you. If there's any corrections, please let Clara know. Otherwise, you can make one motion to adopt both of them.
I'll move to adopt both of them.
I'll second. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Okay. Your next item of administration is on your agenda is the approval of the closed minutes. Under the Maryland Open Meetings Act, there is a specific statement that needs to be read. So with your permission, I'll read it on your behalf, and then you are going to be looking to take a motion to approve it. So this is the City of Taneytown record of closed minutes that occurred for a closed meeting on March 28th, 2023 at 3:21 p.m. in the City Hall. A motion was made to close the meeting by Board Member Richard Ott and seconded by Board Member Linda Canfield. The vote of the elected members were Marsalek, Ott, and Canfield in favor, and Member Miller was absent as she has recused herself during the selection period. The purpose of the meeting, in accordance with the Maryland Open Meetings Act, Title 10, Government Procedures, Subtitle 5, Meetings, Section 3-305B, it was to close the meeting in order to discuss subsection 1, to discuss the appointment, employment, assignment, promotion, discipline, demotion, compensation, removal, resignation, or performance evaluation of appointees, employees, or officials over whom it has jurisdiction. That is why we closed it. We also closed it for subsection 7 to consult with legal counsel to obtain advice. The topics discussed at this meeting was a hearing held on the complaint filed by Christopher Miller regarding a contribution to the campaign of Dan Haynes. The persons that were present at the closed sessions were all of the members noted above: Attorney Gullo, City Manager Wieprick, and Clerk Kalman. Dan Haynes and Mark Stevenson were called as witnesses and appeared at separate times during the hearing. The actions taken at the closed sessions were the following. Attorney Gullo was directed to prepare an opinion for the decision of the board made by Chairman Marsalek, seconded by Member Ott, and the motion carried 3-0. A motion to adjourn was made at 5:02 p.m. by Chairman Marsalek, seconded by Linda Canfield, and that motion carried 3-0. That's our closed statement. Is there any additions, corrections? Otherwise, you can make a motion to adopt.
No additions or corrections?
You mentioned item 7, but mine's been whited out. So you made a comment to discuss 1 and then 7 to consult with counsel to obtain legal advice, and that was whited out.
It should be X'd. There should be an
It should be an X there.
I'll make that change.
X there.
Okay.
So on the official version, we'll have an X there
Okay.
on legal counsel.
All right, because I do think that's what we did. All right, well, with that change, then I'll make a motion to accept as amended.
Okay. I'll second.
Okay. It's all in favor? Everybody's good with that?
Aye.
Aye.
Okay. That brings us to your major item of business today, which is to review the campaign finance reports that were due yesterday at the close of business. You will see there are 3 reports in front of you, one from Mr. Haynes, one from Mr. Wantz, and one from Mr. Miller. You do not see 2 reports that are not there, one from Mr. McCarron and the other candidate the name escapes me, Mr. Tillman. Yes. So you do not see their reports. They did not file them, and we have not yet received them. So my thought as to proceed is, why don't we deal with the issues that you have in front of you, go through those reports, and then we can deal with the issue of the reports you do not have. We did a quick review, and from our review, again, ours might not be encompassing, but the only errors that we saw in the were on Mr. Haynes's report. It was missing the address of a contributor, and it was also missing the address of an expenditure. The contributor looked like it was Gary, but I don't. I could maybe not read that correct. And the expenditure was Squarespace. Looked like there was no addresses, and so it's hard to verify that, but they should be completed. I did not note any other issues. Ms. Kalman did do the addition, so she took the closing forms from last meeting, all of these, and all the math does check out.
Check his math. You see anything? Even the numbers added up, so. Said even the numbers added up. So.
Yeah. I don't see anything. I do have a quick question. The in-kind, the limit on in-kind donations, is that 500? Am I remembering that wrong, or am I remembering that?
That is correct, 500.
Okay, so Mr. Miller, I think, is now up to his 500. Does that mean when you look at he had 300 carried over from the last time and 200 more this time? Or is it per donor?
Per donor.
Okay, so
Right.
so he could, all right. Just, the number just stuck in my head, I wasn't sure.
So if you don't have any other issues, I highlighted those two. Would you like us to follow up with Mr. Haynes on those two addresses? That was the only ones that we saw. unless you have anything else on those.
No.
Nope.
Nope, nothing.
All right, Clara, we'll follow up with that. If you can get in touch with Mr. Haynes, tell him to provide those addresses. And he needs to do that, quickly. So let's just say by the end of business tomorrow, that'll tie in with the next thing I'm going to tell you.
Okay.
By way of note, we have had several inquiries regarding the past campaign finance forms which were filed, specifically with candidate Chris Miller. The inquiries are similar. They come in and they say, Mr. Miller states that he's a local businessman, but when we look at the campaign finance reports and the ethics for filings he made, he states he doesn't have a business interest. And as you directed, we said we are not fielding those types of complaints, and we directed them that the forms were vetted by you, and the inquiry was made with Mr. Miller about his business ownership of the Laughing Coffin business, and he stated that it was his wife's interest. So we have informed people that do not make formal complaints to your body. It has already been vetted, and that's what we've been told. So unless you want to do something different, we have just told them that it's administratively dismissed. If they want to make formal complaints, we'll let you know. So,
Thank you.
okay. So that brings us to the two missing forms that you do not have in front of you from Mr. Tillman and Mr. McCarron. We did not reach out to them. I mean, they received the forms like everyone else. They have the dates on them like everybody else. And the three people that filed them knew that they needed to file them by yesterday. These two did not. I can't guess why they didn't. I could try to say something, but I wouldn't know. The code has two sections that deal with this to give you what you have. The code states in 18-7 that failure to file a report prior to the election makes them ineligible to be on the ballot. And they have 2 business days to do so. So yesterday they were due, which means today is business day 1 and tomorrow is business day 2. Section 18-19 says that you can issue fines for any violation, which would be a fine, a timing violation, and your fines can be anywhere up to $500. So I don't know what you want to do. Obviously, there is some miscommunication. They did not file them. Maybe it's because they're both running unopposed for their office. Maybe it's because they're both self-funding. We did not have any inquiries about that. So their forms should basically say they haven't received any contributions, but we don't know that because they didn't file them. So how do you want us to handle this?
Jay, do I understand correctly, there are 2 options that we have, either failing to file would automatically disqualify them from the ballot, or the monetary fine. Is that one or both of the
You
penalties?
can do both, and to comply with the statute, they would have to file by the end of business tomorrow, because that would be the 2 business days. So you could say, we're going to direct the staff to reach out to them this afternoon and say you have until the end of business tomorrow to file, and failing to do so, 18-7 means you won't be on the ballot. You could also, in addition to and/or issue a fine, but you wouldn't have to issue a fine.
Well, I would certainly think, I don't know why they wouldn't file, but I think if Claire gives them a phone call and says, hey, you need to get your paperwork in by tomorrow. Can't imagine, especially Mr. McCarron, considering how many years he's done this.
Maybe they forgot because it's tax day.
That could be.
Yeah. That's right. It is,
Maybe
isn't
more
it?
pressing matters. I'd be inclined to at least give them till tomorrow.
Yeah.
Before doing something. I don't think it makes,
Okay,
what would be the
that sounds
benefit
reasonable.
to have
Clara, could
them?
we prevail upon you to contact both of them
Certainly.
and let them know what their options are? If they fail to respond, my thought would be, rather than to disqualify them from the ballot, since there's no other person opposing them, would just be to levy a fine and my thought would be, I think $250 would teach them a fairly heavy lesson.
I'm thinking the same thing, because what would be the point of not allowing them to run? Then it doesn't benefit the city to not have
Right.
Then they
council
just have
members.
to appoint somebody to fill the spaces, and which
Yeah.
would probably be the two that they,
So I agree, and we can levy up to 500, so I think 250 is fair for a
do you think,
first-time
Richard?
offense.
I agree.
Okay.
Okay, so let me summarize. They are going to be told today by Clara, you need to get your forms in. If you get them in by tomorrow at the end close of business, there's no problem. If you don't get them in by the end of tomorrow at close of business, you're going to be levied $250 fine. And then we will talk about it next Tuesday when we all meet again about what is next. Does that seem reasonable?
Yep.
Yeah.
Okay. Clara, you got that?
I do.
And what we'll do, we're going to assume that they're going to fill their forms out and they'll be correct, is we will email them to everyone. So you guys will get an email end of the business tomorrow, or, at least maybe an email saying they filed, but Clara can work that magic out. And then you can review them. And I would say that we'll just have to review them next week when we meet. There's no point in trying to get anything else together. We're meeting next Tuesday at 3:00, right? Is that correct, Claire?
That's correct. The 25th, 3 o'clock.
Now, just to remind everyone that next Tuesday at 3:00, I'm going to be in Bimini in the Bahamas.
Well,
Okay.
you can get on screen with Jay then.
Right. Yeah, he didn't get to see. Okay, yes.
There you go, see?
Our other member,
There you go.
Tom Lotella, will
So
be-
I'm a little further south than that right now. So,
Your other member?
Tom Latella, which is the other member who's absent today, will be here on the 25th.
He will.
Oh, okay.
Perfect.
we'll still have three then.
so whoever sits closest to the gavel is the chair.
Gets to chair, okay.
Sitting at the far end,
Next
right?
week.
All right.
You just
Unless there
wait.
are other items, thank you guys very much for coming in
Motion to
today.
to adjourn.
Enjoy your vacation, Mr. Chairman. And I'll say bye.
Thank you.
I'll second the motion. All right.
All in favor?
Aye.
Meeting adjourned.
I like those quick ones like that.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was great.